Whether it's a product for home or business, farm or factory, you can be sure if it's Westinghouse. This evening, Westinghouse Studio One presents the Rockingham Tea Set.
Beautiful set, Anna. I'm no authority on china, but for years I've admired these cups. You can almost feel their age.
There were a dozen in my mother's day, but now we're down to two. That's the reason Lizzie refuses to use them except on very special occasions. When you get your tea from the Rockingham Tea Set, you may know you're in Lizzie's good graces.
Is that true, Lizzie?
It may be and it may not. I can only say there's some I should not like to see lay a finger on them cups.
They get the white ones with gold rims. A Sears Roebuck special.
Indeed. I gave you that myself on your birthday. It's like you to be forgetting.
She rather caught you there, I'm afraid.
Oh, no, not at all. That's just one of her little fantasies. You know, I bought that set myself in Chicago last year, but she likes to think she did.
It's partly about Lizzie that I wanted to talk to you, Anna.
Oh?
See what happened then? She got dizzy just before she reached the door. She's not well, I'm afraid.
Well, how could she be? She's 10 years older than I am and as deaf as a post. And you know, she's begun to see things lately. Why, on occasion, she'll let out a yell like a banshee.
You may as well know this, Anna. You may want to call someone someday, and Lizzie won't be the one to hear.
Heart?
Yes. But it's not critical, Anna. You can go on for another 10 or 15 years if you take care of yourself. But you need a young person in the house. Someone to be here in case you need her.
A nurse? Oh, she'd be too immaculate. And if she were any good, she'd hover about watching every aging symptom until out of sheer consideration for her, I'd just have to fold up and die. Cake?
No, thank you. Oh, it's nothing like that, Anna. The young woman I have in mind doesn't even fit that description. But she needs to keep busy. I think you'd find her companionable.
I know you, Dr. Waller. You're up to your old tricks, putting two patients together to help each other.
Well, you can at least have her here and talk to her.
Well, has she had much experience?
She's had one rather bad experience. You'd have to take her without any recommendation except mine.
Huh.
Oh, now don't snort. I have absolute confidence in this girl. But I also think that you could help her by letting her confide in you. She needs someone like you to talk to.
Well, what's your young woman's name?
Sarah Mapin.
Well, you can tell your Miss Mapin to come and see me tomorrow at tea time around 4.
Good.
Oh, Lizzie, just to remind you that I'm expecting a guest, and I want you to use the Rockingham Tea Set. It's a friend of Dr. Waller's.
I have it already.
Oh, good. Well, then call me when she gets here.
I will. Come right in. You're expected. Take this chair here. It's far the most comfortable. I'll tell Miss Gregory you're here. Oh?
Is Mrs. Gregory in?
Yes. Come in. Just sit anywhere. I'll tell her you're here.
Oh, forgive me, my dear. I hope I haven't kept you waiting.
Not at all.
We'll have tea in just a moment. Sit there, dear. I always sit here, and you know I'm too old to change my habits.
Thank you. You're Mrs. Gregory, of course. I'm
Yes.
Sarah Mason.
Oh, yes, I know. Dr. Wallace told me all about you.
Oh,
Well, no, not all. But he did say I'd like you.
I hope he was right.
Well, he usually is. That's his most irritating characteristic. Why, Lizzie, I thought I had told you expressly.
There you are. And I hope you'll have cakes enough to go around.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be enough. You mustn't mind Lizzie. She's very old and has no manners whatever.
I don't mind.
You know, Dr. Waller feels that I should have someone here with me. It's my heart. He says I can last another 10 years if I behave myself. I don't know that I can, but I don't know that I want to. In any event, the engagement is liable to be a short one. Are you sure you want the position?
Yes, Mrs. Gregory, I'm quite sure. How much did Dr. Waller tell you about me?
Well, not very much, really. He said you'd been on a difficult case. He also intimated that you were in no position to show me any recommendations.
No, it was my first case, and it ended rather badly.
Badly? Did the patient die?
Yes.
Well, so shall I'm sure.
Oh, but this was quite different, Mrs. Gregory. You see, I was suspected of serious neglect, being perhaps responsible for the patient's death.
Were you?
No, and it's quite important that you believe that before I start here. I don't feel as though I could take a position with anyone without all the facts being known.
Well, I'm perfectly free, so go right ahead. I think I should like to hear the story.
Well, I assisted Dr. Waller on all his operations
Yes.
for over a year. About 6 months ago, he called me in and told me he'd recommended me for a case. But just as he'd begun to fill me in on the details, an urgent call came through for him. He just shoved an address in front of me and dashed out. I only knew that I was to go to the home of a Mr. Carlton Arden in Lake Forest. I arrived at the house about 6 in the afternoon. Is this the home of Mr. Carlton Arden?
You're the new nurse aspect. The missus is waiting for you. Come in, come in.
Thank you.
You might as well put your bag right down here till you've seen her. Most of them never gets no further. And I'm tired of carrying bags up and down them stairs.
Thank you. Is it Mr. Arden who is ill?
Land sakes, no, he's dead. Been dead for 5 years. It's Miss Celia who's ailing. But let the missus tell you, that ain't no part of my job. Miss Arden, here's that nurse you was expecting.
Oh, ask her to come in, Margaret. How do you do, Miss Maypin? I'm Mrs. Arden. Dr. Waller has recommended you very highly.
How do you do, Mrs. Arden?
He said he would explain the case fully to you. I suppose he has.
Oh, no, he had an emergency call before he could tell me anything. Your maid says it's your daughter who is ill.
Well, it's not a matter of being ill, Miss Maypin. My daughter Celia is a hopeless cripple. She was in an automobile accident a year ago. She'll never walk again.
Oh, that is hard.
Yes, particularly since it was quite unnecessary. The young man who was driving the car had been drinking. It's not something any of us will find very easy to forget, ever.
No, I imagine not.
Poor David. You see, it was he, Celia's fiancé, who was driving the car. He suffered as much as any of us, I expect, and his devotion, I must say, has never wavered. But then, Celia's a very unusual child. I think you'll realize that when you see her. We all recognized her beauty and her wonderful quality before, but it took this tragic accident to reveal the full depths of her character.
Are there any treatments or exercises I'm to give her, Mrs. Arden?
Oh, no, just a sedative now and then to help her to sleep. What Celia needs is companionship. Warm, constant companionship and trust. It's not skill alone we're looking for, Miss Maypin, but character. Dr. Waller tells me you have it.
Well, I'd have to leave that to you.
Well, there's only one person who can really judge Miss Maypin, and that's Celia. Now, I suggest you meet my daughter and have a talk with her.
Of course.
Your room will be right beside hers, Miss Maypin, and I'll have Margaret bring up your bag in a
Oh,
moment.
I can carry it quite easily.
Oh, no, please don't, Miss Maypin. It's difficult enough to discipline servants these days without deliberately spoiling them.
beautiful. What is it?
It's a Saint Cecilia shrine. I picked it up in Florence some years ago. And after the accident, I had it put here outside her door. Oh, but please don't ever mention it to Celia. She'd feel it was sentimental. She might be very angry.
Oh, thank you for warning me. I might so easily have spoken of it.
Well.
Come in. Mother, darling, must you knock every time you enter? You do it 50 times a day.
Well, I knew David was with you, dear. and I
Oh,
thought-
don't tell me you expected to find us in an ardent embrace. We haven't indulged in that pastime for quite a while. Have we, David?
How do you do, Mrs. Arden?
How are you, David? Celia, this is Miss Mapin, the nurse Dr. Waller was speaking about.
How do you do? I must say he painted the most nauseating picture of you. He gave us the impression you were just too good to be true. Are you? I hope not.
And this is Mr. Barr, my daughter's fiancé.
How do you do?
How do you do?
I'm his cross, Miss Mason. He bears me with great fortitude and no joy.
That's not true, of course.
But of course it is true. You're just one great bundle of nobility, David. I suppose my mother told you I'm a cripple, Miss Mason. I'm just a head and very little else. And I take it out on people by being as difficult as possible as I can with everyone around me. Take my advice and turn down the job. You'll regret it if you don't.
Of course, she doesn't mean a word of that, Miss Mapin.
I
She's
do
just
mean it, Mother. Now sit down, David. I was just about to give him a terrible lacing, and there's nothing I like more.
Excuse me.
Oh, wait a moment. Celia, before you go back to your game, do you think Miss Mapin will do?
Well, if you can stand it, I can. Oh, do anything you like, Mother. You know it makes no difference to me, whatever. How old are you? 24. Yes, that's what I guessed. And from just at a glance, I'd say you had a rather good figure. Stay away from men and automobiles, and you'll keep it longer. Oh, pretty, very pretty. That does it, my love.
She's having quite a run of luck. That's 5 games in a row.
Well, I guess I'd better show you your room, Miss Mapin. You'll want to change into your uniform, I expect.
Yes, if I may. I'm very glad to have met you.
Very glad to have met you, Miss Mapin.
Oh, David, for the love of heaven, get me a drink. I need it.
Are you certain you should? It's pretty early.
Don't try to take care of me, my love. It's a little late for that.
One thing about being a nurse, you don't need a trunk to travel with.
Not exactly. One change of uniform and a toothbrush.
My land, on weekends when I'd pack for Miss Celia, why, she'd have a bag this size just for her shoes.
You were here before the accident, then?
Oh, long before. Why, I brung that child up. Not that she's any child now. She sure enough has changed. All she got left is just her hair. That's just like it always was.
She could only get over being bitter. It'd be so much easier for her. Maybe it wouldn't. Perhaps it's the only way she keeps her spirit alive.
Maybe, but I don't even want to go near her no more. She tries to hurt everything she touches. She don't even know she's hurting them no more. She just got to have it.
The one I feel sorry for is Mr. Barr. His eyes are so terribly sad. He must have suffered.
Oh, you don't have to have no pity for him. He's the one that done it to her. I don't be sure but what he didn't intend to do it. He ain't no good, that one. He ain't no good at all.
Why, Margaret, you don't mean to say...
That's her brother. You best go in quick. She don't like to be kept waiting.
I'll go. You rang, Miss Arden?
Yes, I'd like to sleep tonight. I haven't for 3 nights.
Has the doctor given you a sedative?
Oh, yes, the bottle's in the bathroom, but I'd like some warm milk with it. It works quicker that way.
Of course, I'll get some for you right away.
Miss Mapin.
Yes, Miss Arden?
I don't like that professionally soothing tone of yours. It's too close to pity, and I don't need your pity or anyone else's.
I don't pity you, Miss Arden.
You don't? Why?
Self-protection. The moment I start pitying you, I'll stop being of any good to you. I'd rather be a good nurse.
You know, I might get to like you if you stay the way you are. Oh, but you won't. They never do. Well, that's David. Why is he still here?
Why does he play the piano at this hour when he knows how I feel about it? Go tell him to stop. Tell him to stop at once.
Yes, Miss Arden.
Oh.
Mr. Barr,
Yes?
Miss Arden wanted me to ask you to stop.
Oh, I had no idea she could hear it.
But just faintly, it seemed to make her nervous.
No, it didn't make her nervous. She always loved music. That was one of the strongest things we had in common.
Were you waiting for something, Mr. Barr?
No. I just find it hard to face the idea of going home. I used to like being alone. It was almost a craving, but lately... I'm sorry, I'm spilling over with Weltschmerz.
Maybe I could close the door. I don't think she'd hear then.
Oh, don't try to take care of me too, Miss Maiden. You have your hands full as it is.
I don't know.
I do. You'd better get back to your patient.
Have to get a cup of warm milk first. Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm completely lost. Can you tell me how I get to the kitchen?
I'll even lead you there.
Oh, please don't bother.
It's no bother. It's rather nice to see someone smile in this house for a change. Thank you.
I do wish you'd knock before coming in, Miss Nathan. You might as well know I don't like people bursting in without knocking.
I'm sorry. I thought you might be sleeping.
Well, I wasn't. I never sleep without an artificial inducement. What's that?
I don't know. Would you like me to open it for you?
No. No, I'm only paralyzed from the waist down, you know. I can still use my own hands. Oh, how unutterably dull. Every day he remembers to send something. If only he'd forget just once, instead of constantly reminding me of his glorious penance. Oh, no. A sprig of gardenias, just to remind me of the nights we once went dancing. Tomorrow it'll probably be a pair of skis. What do you think, Miss Maiden? Do you think the irony is unconscious or deliberate?
I'm sure it was unconscious.
Are you? Why?
Oh, Mr. Barr didn't impress me as a particularly cruel person, Miss Arden.
Did you pity him, Miss Maiden? A healthy, attractive male chained for life to this. But do you know why, Miss Maiden? Do you? Before you make book on it, it might pay you to find out.
I'm here to try to help you, Miss Arden. I'm not trying to find out anything.
Help me. The helpful little ritual of the hospital cot. Would you like to rub my back with alcohol? Would you like to wipe my hands with a damp cloth? Plump my pillows? Oh, yes. There are 100 things you can do for me, Miss Maiden, which mean absolutely nothing. You've an assignment in futility.
When I came in just now, I thought I heard the radio going. I do hope you didn't turn it off on my account. I love music.
I used to love it, too. I loved a great many things.
I know.
How do you know?
You like tennis, and sailing, and riding horseback. And you used to laugh a great deal. And you had a good many friends.
When you have money and can do a lot of things well, it's very easy to have friends. When you have money and very little else, they dwindle.
I see.
Do you? Don't try, Miss Maiden. Don't pry beneath the surface. There are some ugly, crawly things beneath the open stones.
Now, that's just morbid. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Perhaps I am.
But then why?
Oh, stop it. Stop questioning me. I won't have you sneaking around leaving me no privacy, whatever. I have very little else left. At least leave me my privacy.
Forgive me, I know
shut up. Get out. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Would you like your sedative now, Miss Arden? It may help you to sleep.
Yes.
What is it, Miss Arden?
Oh, the pain. It shot right through me. I can't stand it.
Where, Miss Arden?
My legs, my knees, everywhere. Don't touch me. Just wait. Oh, thank God it's stopped.
Do you have these pains often, Miss Arden?
No, never. Not since the night he told me.
What?
Nothing.
I'll speak to Dr. Waller when he comes. He may be able
You're
to...
not to mention this to anybody, do you understand? Not to anybody.
But, Miss Arden,
Not one word. Is she asleep, Miss Maitland? Dr. Waller is here.
No, come in, Doctor. Come in, Mrs.
Oh,
Arden.
stop whispering.
Oh, I don't blame you for being angry, Celia. It's very late for me to call. But I didn't get out from Chicago until after dinner, and I wanted to see how you were doing.
Well, she's been wonderfully quiet all day.
Get me the chart, please, Miss Maple, at once. You sure that last entry's correct?
Yes, Doctor, 10 o'clock.
It was less than an hour ago. Get me a sedative, please, at once.
Something wrong, Doctor?
No, nothing serious. Something seems to have excited him. Can you tell me what it is, Celia?
Nothing. It just came on me for no reason.
Good. Now, here, please take these, Celia. It'll quiet you down.
Can't I take it later?
No, I want you to get a good night's rest. Now then, just lie back and relax.
Oh, my poor child. My poor darling. Oh, don't get sloppy, Mother. You know I don't like it.
Now, you should try and drop off to sleep, Celia. I'll stop by again in the morning.
I will. But couldn't you leave some of those pills here by the bed? I might need another one in the night.
No, I think you'd better ring for Miss Maitland. She'll bring you an extra one if you need it.
All right, Doctor.
Good night, child. Try and sleep.
I will. Good night, darling. What is it, Doctor?
Will you excuse me a moment, Mrs. Arden? I'd like to talk to Miss Maitland. I'll join you in the library in 5 minutes.
Oh, certainly, Doctor.
Is this your room, Miss Maitland?
Yes.
May I come in for a moment?
Of course.
What did happen, Miss Maitland?
I really don't know, Doctor. We were just talking for a few moments. I guess I must have said something.
Well, that would hardly account for her pulse. It was dangerously high. I suppose you realize that.
Yes, I do. I believe it was brought on by a very severe pain that struck her in her legs.
Did this happen before, do you know?
She says not. I found that rather hard to believe.
Yes.
Have you ever had any reason to believe, Dr. Waller, that part, at least, of Miss Arden's trouble may be mental?
No. But the existence of certain psychosomatic symptoms isn't unnatural. This accident has caused a violent emotional readjustment. A certain amount of temporary abnormality is to be expected. This evidence of pain is rather disturbing. I shall have to examine her carefully in the morning.
I hope it can be done, Doctor, that she doesn't suspect I told you.
I'll do my best. I'm aware how difficult this assignment is, Miss Maitland. I would like to give you one word of warning. Keep yourself emotionally remote. The minute you allow personal feelings to enter in, your usefulness will be at an end. That's true to date, I trust.
Completely.
Good. Now I'll go down and see Mrs. Arden. Good night, Miss Maitland. Oh, you might just take a look at it in a moment to see that everything's quiet.
I will. Good night, Doctor.
Good night.
Miss Maitland, don't go. I want to speak to you.
Yes, Miss Arden?
You told Dr. Waller about the pain in my legs, didn't you?
You seem to be convinced I did.
I know you did. You see, I know a great many things that happen after that door is closed. Remember that. Some things I can forgive. There are others I can't. That's all, Miss Maitland. Good night.
Good night, Miss Arden.
Now that you've seen part one of the Rockingham Tea Set, let's turn to our Westinghouse program. A peach of a pair, huh? Well, I guess most any man would like to be paired off with Betty Furness.
Why, how you talk. We're going to show you a real peach of a pair, perfect to pair off in your kitchen. There they are, the handsome Westinghouse refrigerator and the new Westinghouse upright home freezer. Come on, Bill, let's show them why they pair off so well.
Okay, honey, I'm coming. Now, take a look at this. This is exactly the same size as the ordinary chest-type freezer. And let me show you something. See? The Westinghouse refrigerator and freezer fit into the same floor space as the ordinary chest-type freezer does. And together they give you twice as much storage space. 7 cubic feet of deluxe refrigerator, 6 cubic feet of frozen storage.
And that means that there's room for a Westinghouse upright freezer right in your kitchen. You won't have to go down in the cellar or out to the garage for your frozen foods. And look, there's no bending down and groping for foods with the Westinghouse upright freezer. You just reach in and slip the foods out using this handy door as a loading shelf. Now, of course, you can fast freeze foods and store them in this top compartment. And you can store them in this compartment and in this one, filling your freezer with 210 pounds of frozen foods. Yes, women love the convenience of the Westinghouse upright freezer.
And the man who pays the bills likes this Westinghouse home freezer, too, because it saves hundreds of dollars in food costs and is priced so modestly, only $239.95. And take a look at this handsome 7 cubic foot refrigerator. All the quality you expect from Westinghouse, and it costs $234.95.
Just think of that. And there they are, 13 cubic feet of Westinghouse colder cold. Wouldn't they make a peach of a pair in your kitchen?
I'll say they would. And here's something else I want to say. You can buy either the Westinghouse home freezer or refrigerator or both on my convenient payment plan. Come on in and let's talk it over, huh?
And now let's return to Westinghouse Studio 1 and the Rockingham Tea Set.
Good morning, Margaret.
Morning, miss. It's a good day at last, ain't
Oh,
it?
spring's come all of a rush. What a wonderful day. I feel warm and lazy and good for nothing.
You sure is a breath of life around this house, Miss Sarah. I never see a place so smell of glumness. It's enough to give a body sickness in the spirit.
Why, what are you talking about, Margaret? Even Miss Celia was laughing yesterday. I've never seen her in better spirits. This weather keeps up. I'm going to have her out in the garden. You wait and see.
You get her to move out of that bed, and I'm going to have to see. She's in love with that bed, and she don't want to move, never.
That's nonsense.
Is it? I tell you, I know it ever since she was a child. So long as she's in that bed, she got everybody in this house just like that. And she's going to keep them like that if it kills her.
Hello, hello, hello.
David?
No one else.
Him. Why don't he go home? Always act like he ain't
Hello,
got no
Margaret.
day.
Can't you even smile on a fine day like this?
I can smile when I like to.
She used to like me.
What have you got there?
One of those long record jobs and some new records. A wonderful new French gal. Jacqueline Francois.
Music? Oh, David, you know she hates it. She'll only make us sing.
She asked for it.
I don't believe it. When?
Yesterday. I've got an idea. If she can once get over this feeling of hers about music, she's going to be a lot better off.
Well, I wish you luck.
Thanks.
You know, David, 2 or 3 times lately, she's mentioned something to me that's made me think music was in some way associated in her mind with the accident. Is that possible?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you speak about it.
I don't mind. It might be something of a relief. We were coming home from the club, you know. I'd been drinking. I shouldn't have tried to drive at all. Then just as we started, I turned on the radio. There was a piano duet, quite a good one. I began taking my hands off the wheels, pretending to play along with them. She asked me to stop, and I wouldn't. I got going quite a bit too fast, trying to keep up with the music. Just made a big sweep down the keyboard when Celia screamed and reached over and grabbed the wheel. And that's when it happened.
Thanks for telling me, David. I've wanted to know for a long time.
Why? You knew I was to blame. I'm sure no one left you in any doubt about that.
No, but They'd almost protested too much. I was beginning to
No,
suspect...
they were right. I had no defense. This isn't going to make you hate me, too, I hope.
No.
You've made everything possible. Things looked pretty black before you came.
Oh, that's silly.
Day after day, I've wondered how long it would be before something would happen that would make Celia get suspicious and make your position here unbearable.
Suspicious of what,
Oh,
David?
here you are, Miss Maypin. Celia has been ringing and ringing for you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I only came down for a moment.
Well, you seem to have been detained somewhat longer than that, however.
I'll go up immediately.
Good morning, David. I think you better give Celia a moment. She'll want to brush up a little before seeing you.
Of course, Mrs. Arden.
Oh, I'm in disgrace. I do hope you'll forgive me, but I just couldn't bear it. It's such a heavenly day.
Well, spring means very little to me anymore.
Oh, but it will. In a week's time, I'm going to have you out in the garden.
I prefer to stay where I am, thank you. And when you've quite finished with your girlish romantics, I'd like to have my brush.
I refuse to let you upset me. I feel far too well.
When I choose to upset you, Miss Maypin, I shall know how to do so most effectively.
Now, come on, smile. You look lovely this morning.
I must say for you, Sarah, that you don't go all to pieces when I growl at you.
Why should I? You only do it to make an effect. It's all because you underestimate yourself. You can be a nice, gay human being when you stop putting on an act.
Ouch, you're pulling my hair.
Well, I'm sorry. I was trying to hurry. David's waiting downstairs.
Oh, so it's David now.
What? Oh, nonsense. You're just trying to find something to quarrel about.
Maybe. Mother's not so sure.
What?
Oh, she admits you've been properly cautious, though.
Why, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I've scarcely spoken to him outside this room. It's easy enough to find trouble without looking for it.
You're mad, aren't you?
Why shouldn't I be? Malicious gossip like that makes me good and mad. Mad enough to want
what?
Oh, nothing, forget it.
Thanks. You've told me all I wanted to know. Come in, darling.
Hi, you seem in good spirits today.
Do I? How long do you think it'll last?
As long as you want it to.
Oh, don't put the burden on me. Oh, by the way, our Miss Maypin is angry. Be very careful, or she might turn on you, too.
What about what's happened?
Oh, it's nothing. I just have to clear up a few things in here and then I'll leave.
What's that?
It's rather special. I hope you like it.
Well, open it up. Oh, what? What?
It's what you asked for.
No. Jacqueline Francois? Oh, David, is her voice as haunting as they say.
Wait till you hear.
Well, hurry, David. I haven't heard anything in so long. Oh.
Like it?
Oh, yes, it's lovely. Oh, David, this is so nice.
I haven't seen you smile and I don't know when.
Well, I haven't felt like smiling and I don't know when.
Who's responsible? Our Miss Maypin must be doing a pretty good job.
You have to bring her into the conversation. Oh, shut up. Let's just listen to the music.
Sarah, don't go.
Oh, thanks, but
Please stay. You're one of the family, aren't you?
Stop it.
What?
Stop it. Turn it off.
But...
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Get out. I'm tired. Sick. Can't you see how sick I am?
I think you'd better leave, Mr. Barlow.
But
Get out. Out.
Just lie quietly a moment, Miss Arden, and I'll get you something.
You planned this together, didn't you? You wanted it to hurt me. You wanted it.
I knew nothing about those records till he brought them in. Not one thing.
Don't lie to me. And don't be noble. You want him and you know it. Well, why not? He's a very skillful lover. That's one thing I haven't forgotten. I remember all too well. And you'd like nothing better than to get rid of me, wouldn't you? Well, I'm not ready to go yet, Miss Maypin. But when I am, believe me, I won't go alone. I won't go alone. Well,
What are you staring at? Has that ever happened before, Miss Arden?
Well, it didn't happen. But it didn't. Why are you trying to torture me?
It did happen. You can move your legs, can't you?
No, I can't. Oh, leave me alone. Mother, Baker, leave me alone.
Of course, Mrs. Arden, I have no choice but to bow to your judgment. But I must confess I find it hard to believe. I talked with Miss Mapen only 2 days ago, and there was no indication that any such situation as you describe existed.
Oh, please, Doctor. You must understand that Celia is our major concern. An emotional crisis of this sort must be avoided at all costs.
Isn't it possible, Mrs. Arden, that this crisis, as you call it, was created in Celia's own imagination?
Doctor, I never would have come to so drastic a conviction had I not felt that Celia's suspicions were justified.
As I recall it, Mrs. Mapen, there were 8 nurses who preceded Miss Mapen. Was there equal justification in each one of those cases?
Well, that was entirely different. They were simply not our sort of people. They failed everywhere but fit into our sort.
Obviously, your decision is final. I'll try and... However, I should prefer to the news to her myself.
Of course, Doctor.
Thank you. And if you'll excuse me, I'd like to go to a CXPC.
I'll be...
Dr. Waller.
Hello, Miss Mapen. May I speak to you for a moment?
That isn't even necessary, Doctor. You see, I know why you're here. Mrs. Arden wants you to get someone to take my place.
Is it true, Miss Mapen? Have you allowed your emotions to get involved? Oh, I'm not blaming you. I'd just like to know.
My emotions are involved, Dr. Waller. But not the ones you think. I'm frightened. I've been frightened almost from the day I arrived.
Frightened, Miss Mapen?
Yes. Dr. Waller, have you examined Miss Arden's legs recently?
Yes, why do you ask?
Miss Arden is not paralyzed, Doctor. She can move her legs quite easily. She may even be able to walk.
That's a very didactic statement, Miss Mapen. Have you actually seen her move her legs?
Yes, last night. She lifted her knees up under her chin. I saw it happen. She even knew that I saw it.
I see. Secretly, I've suspected something of this sort for some time. I'll try and have someone out here by Monday. It won't be for long, just tonight and tomorrow.
I certainly don't look forward to the next 48 hours.
No, I imagine not. But it won't kill you.
I hope not.
Well, have they got you answering the bells now?
Oh, I'm just the drudge. No, Mrs. Arden's out for dinner and Margaret's got a virus bug. I told her to stay in bed.
How's things been today? Any better?
Worse. In addition, I've been fired. I'm leaving Monday.
No.
Oh, well, it was bound to happen sooner or later.
But why?
Guess I began to know too much. I've been given the Trappist treatment all day. No one's even spoken to me.
This is quite a blow to me. I suppose you realize that.
Oh, don't be silly. I wasn't the best choice for this case in the first place.
By me, you were. Do you think there'd be any point in my speaking to Celia to try to...
Oh, that would really fix it. I've suspected enough as it is. That's a good part of the trouble.
Not seriously.
Seriously.
Celia?
Why did you bother to come? You'd be much happier with her, wouldn't you?
Now, what in the world are you talking about now?
I heard you two laughing in the hall. I know that sound. I know what it means.
You're wrong, but I don't know what point there is in arguing about it.
None. You started to slip away from me once before, remember?
There was no one else then, and there isn't now.
No, but there would have been. You grew tired of me. I was too submissive, wasn't I?
Well, I'm not going to be submissive anymore. You want to get rid of me, both of you. You've wanted it for weeks.
I've taken about all this I can stand, Celia.
You said that once before, too, remember? While the music was playing and you held me in your arms, swaying, you said those very words. And what happened? I smiled, didn't I? I didn't make a scene. But I didn't give you up either. Just one little grab of the wheel, one tiny twist, and I got you back. Don't forget that, David, because I can do it again, and again, and again if I have to. Who are you to think you can throw me over?
You mean that you jerked the wheel deliberately?
Yes. Remember? But don't try to tell anyone, Mr. Barr, because I'll never admit it. Never. You'll never be rid of me. Never. David, what is it?
She's mad, Sarah. She's mad. Do you know what she just told me? It wasn't an accident. She pulled on the wheel of the car deliberately. She did it to hold me. She made herself like this to hold me. She did it.
What?
Yes, you see what no one's ever known. I'd just broken our engagement. She took her revenge. She didn't care if she killed us both then, and she wouldn't care now.
But that's insane. David, do you know what you're saying? That's insane.
I know.
Oh, David.
I didn't expect much of you, David. But I hardly expected you to be common.
Mother. Mother.
Good night, Sarah. Forgive me.
Good night, David.
There, child, there.
Oh, it doesn't matter, Mother, really. Don't think this comes as any surprise to me. I've known for a long time how cheap he is. I must admit I was a little surprised to have it happen with a servant, though. Mother, maybe you'd better see that Miss Mason gives me the proper prescription. I'd be a little more comfortable if I were sure.
2 tablets only, Miss Mason. May I see that bottle, please, Miss Mason? Thank you, Miss Mason.
Thank you, Mother. You can just leave the pills there, Miss Mason. Run and call Mrs. Arden at once, please. I'll telephone Dr. Waller.
What is it? Something wrong with Miss Celia?
Miss Celia's dead, Margaret.
Oh, Lord, save us.
And now let's pause for a moment and look at our program again. Congratulations, it's twins, huh? Well, some people might say, why congratulations? Because twins mean twice as much work.
Ah, but not these twins. They do the work themselves. There they are. The Westinghouse laundry twins. The laundromat to wash your clothes all automatically, and the clothes dryer to dry them in any weather. Together, these twins give you a complete modern laundry unit in only 5 feet of space. Now, let me show you some of the many jobs that the laundromat saves you. For instance, you won't have to fill any wash tubs by hand. And you won't need to use a wringer ever again. And no more getting your hands all red and rough in hot, soapy wash water, because your fingers never even touch water with a laundromat. And with a laundromat, there's no muss to clean up afterwards. Nothing to make wash day the drudgery that it used to be. Let me show you all you do. You just slip the clothes in, and then add soap. Set the dial, and the laundromat takes over from there. It washes your clothes, rinses them 3 times, it even cleans itself and shuts off automatically. And then, when your clothes are washed all clean, it's only 1 step to drop them into the clothes dryer. Now, for clothes that you want to iron, you set the dial at damp, and they come out just perfect. No need for sprinkling. And you set the dial at dry for clothes that you want completely dried. Isn't that wonderful? You just turn a couple of dials, and the entire job of washing and drying your clothes is done for you automatically. There's no doubt about it. Here's one pair of twins that makes any mother's work lots easier. The Westinghouse Laundry Twins.
Buy on proof. Wouldn't you like to see with your own eyes just how the Westinghouse Laundry Twins can wash and dry your clothes? Stop in at my store with a bundle of your own clothes, or phone me and I'll pick it up. Now, I'll be glad to wash and dry those clothes in the Westinghouse laundromat and dryer, absolutely free of charge. And remember, there's no obligation.
We return now to the Rockingham Tea Set.
Is she ready to leave?
Yes, she'll be down in a moment. This may very easily mean the end of her career, Mrs. Arden. You do realize that?
I consider she's extremely lucky. It's only out of consideration for you that I didn't make an issue of this with the police.
Had you seriously considered that, Mrs. Arden?
Well, certainly it seems obvious to me.
Does it? And what motive do you think she might have had?
The oldest motive in the world, Doctor. When I came home after dinner that evening, I found her in her room with Mr. Barr. They were in each other's arms.
I had hoped that that was not the case. But even if it were true, I can't see...
Doctor, because as long as Celia was alive, David would never desert her. David isn't a very strong character, you know. He was completely devoted to Celia, and if you'll forgive me, he was almost equally devoted to her money.
I do not concede the motive, Mrs. Arden.
But I've told you, Doctor. I was there that evening when Miss Mapin was preparing Celia's sedative. I saw the bottle with my own eyes. It was nearly full. The next morning, when we found the bottle in the cabinet, it was nearly empty. You saw it yourself. Now, who else could have given it to her? She certainly couldn't have done it herself.
I can see how Miss Mapin could get the tablets. I can see her offering them to Celia. But will you tell me how she got Celia to take those tablets? Unless she wanted to take them herself?
You implying that this is suicide, Doctor?
I can see no other explanation, Mrs. Arden.
I'll never accept that. I knew my daughter. I was there with her less than an hour before it happened. I would have known, Doctor. As a mother, I would have known. Why, she herself was so suspicious of Miss Mapin that she begged me to watch her while she prepared her sedative for the night. Celia sensed a danger. Poor darling. She was so far from considering suicide that she was terrified of what might happen to her.
Forgive me. I'm leaving, Dr. Waller. Is there anything you wish to say to me before I go?
Nothing, Miss Mapin, except that I'm extremely sorry.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm fully aware, Mrs. Arden, that you feel I was responsible for your daughter's death. I can't altogether blame you. But perhaps if you knew one thing, you might be a little less convinced.
I really don't care to listen, Miss Mapin.
The whole case against me is based on the assumption that your daughter was paralyzed, that she couldn't move. The fact is, she was not. She had not been paralyzed for some time. I believe she was even able to walk.
Why, Red, all the cold-blooded impertinence.
No, I don't believe that it was.
You mean you credit that statement?
I do.
Then why was I not told, Doctor? What right had you to hide this fact from me?
I wasn't sure. I intended to make some additional tests this very week.
In other words, she planted that idea in your head to give herself an alibi. Obviously, she couldn't make till you made an examination and proved that she was lying.
Oh, no, Mrs. Arden. You don't know the girl you're talking about. She would
Good morning, Mrs. Arden. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, David.
I just dropped by to speak to Miss Mapen. Is she here?
I'm afraid you've missed her, David. She's just left.
Where has she gone?
I have no idea.
Would it be more fitting, Mr. Barr, if you waited at least a week before pursuing her? After all, Celia was your fiancée. She's the one who died, you know.
David, how did you find me?
Dr. Waller finally gave me your address.
Oh, don't come in, David. It's no use.
You've been alone too long. It's not good for you.
But I haven't been alone, David. It's hard to explain, but I haven't been alone. Even when I try to lie down and rest, I can feel her there beside me. I can almost hear the sound of her breathing.
That's imagination.
Is it?
Oh, Sarah, you've been on edge, I know. I've scarcely slept wanting to see you, to talk to you, and to hold you like this.
Oh, don't, David, please. It makes it seem as though all the things they've been saying are true.
They're not true, and you know it.
I know, dear. Oh, I've tried to fight off thoughts of you. I'd almost driven you out of my mind. Oh, please don't make me go through it all again.
I can't help it. I couldn't help it from the moment I first saw you, that first day you walked in. Oh, Sarah, Sarah.
Oh, my darling. My darling.
I may go, but I won't go alone. I'll never give you up. Never, never.
Sarah, what's the matter?
Oh, don't you see, David? Can't you hear? She's here with us in this room. She'll be with us wherever we go. She's won, David. She's won.
No. I let her beat me once, but she can't do it again, Sarah.
Oh, don't make it any harder. Oh, go, David, please.
Surely in time.
Oh, perhaps in time. But I doubt even that. I doubt it very much, David. Goodbye, dear. And God bless you.
I'll go for a time, but only for a time. I know that we can let ourselves be haunted only as long as we let it happen. It's up to us now, Sarah, both of us. I'll go for a while. But I'll be waiting.
And that's all? You haven't seen him since?
No, I haven't seen him. It was some time before I wanted to see anyone. And then one day Dr. Waller came to see me. Convinced me I had to work again. So here I am. I've told you what I can. I can't prove any of it.
Well, I don't see why you have to. I believe you, my dear. Only I'm disappointed.
I was afraid you would be.
Well, I thought you were a rather sensible young girl, and I don't like to find that you're rather foolish and irresponsible.
Well, you've been very patient, at least, and I understand.
Now, where do you think you're going?
Why?
Well, you're working for me now, and from now on you're taking orders from me.
Oh.
And the first order that I give you is to go right out there to the phone and call up David Barr. You're having dinner with him tonight, you understand? And then you're to come back here afterwards. I want to talk to that young man.
But, Mrs. Gregory...
Run along, do as I say. I'm an old lady and I'm used to being obeyed.
Oh, you are a darling.
Well, you don't need to talk too loud in there. I'm too old to begin blushing again. Oh, Lizzie?
Yes?
Now, I'm rather tired of you taking things into your own hands. I told you distinctly that I wanted you to use the Rockingham Tea Set this afternoon.
And I had it already, too. But when the second lady arrived, the one that's in the hall there, I couldn't very well, could I? There are only 2 cups.
Well, he's meeting me. Well, you get right out of here this very minute. But don't forget, I shall expect to see you later.
Oh, I won't forget. I'll never forget you. You know, it's strange. It's for the first time in weeks, I feel as though I were really alone. It's as though at last she really died.
I think perhaps she has.
Before we look at next week's Westinghouse program, here is something well worth remembering.